Rochester is about to undergo its biggest transformation ever. What's up guys, Kagan here, your favorite Rochester real estate agent. And in 2025, Micron that's building, with Wegmans that's expanding, with projects that are happening all across the greater Rochester area, I believe that Rochester's future looks bright. And in this one, I want to discuss to you every single thing that we know about what's happened in Rochester, home prices, and ultimately what the projects look like for 2025. Because when you're thinking about making a move here, it's imperative that we know. Let's get to it. As of December 3rd, 2024, our housing market cost is still relatively low, with median prices right now hovering around $170,000, obviously shifting down on a day-to-day basis. We're still considered the second cheapest metropolitan. This trend also shows that our home prices are still super competitive, with more and more people obviously looking to make that move here because of the affordability. It's simply going to drive up demand. And it's not just me who says that our place is affordable. According to a study from the New York Post, out of 94 cities across 8 countries, Rochester ranked cheap. That's a really, really good thing, but at the same time, New York State as a whole is super duper expensive. Combine that with the $19,000 grant that's accessible for a lot of people, incentivizing them to move to Rochester. It just makes sense that everyone is calling Rochester home. But what does this mean for 2025, and what about the projects that are happening? Let me get to that, because we need to think about affordability as a large sum. When Micron is building, when all these other companies are growing and expanding, they're going to need workers. Workers are going to need houses. The limited supply that we have already is going to drive up demand. So we need to make sure that we're super duper cautious about this entire thing. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, cool. People are coming here, fantastic. What about the housing prices? That's where builders come in. Builders like Ryan Homes, Faber are actively building in Rochester. From places like Churchville, Chilai, Henrietta, to even Mendon, they are building. And I think that's a fantastic thing, because that means for you, we have more properties at bay. Home to 75 public schools and over 22 charter and private schools, we have education taken care of as well. When we think about education from a holistic picture, not just one in which it's one grade or the other, it's imperative that education, especially from the younger age, is designated and taken into account. Meaning for us, our public schools are good, and so are our colleges. One of the caveats to this message is when we think about education, we're thinking about just the inner city. There's also Pittsford, Mendon, Webster, Brighton. I said Webster twice. All of these locations have fantastic schools. On top of that, we've also got McQuay Jesuit, Harley, Allendale. I can go on and on again, and I've done it quite a few times. But more than anything else, we know that education is okay. And we also know that education from a specific inner city standpoint is shifting. We've discussed this a lot. What about colleges? Well, if you're like many of our clients that come here, you're always surprised when I tell you that we are a college party town. Am I saying this from experience? Of course not. But more than anything else, we also have the University of Rochester. We've got RIT. We've also got MCC as well. All of these colleges, including all the ones that exist all together, are fantastic and recognized globally as some of the best in their craft. Education is taken care of. And with all of University of Rochester and the projects that are coming alongside those, I'm excited for what 2025 is going to bring. Now, when we talk about some of the biggest projects that are happening, the Micron project in Syracuse has to be spoken about. More than anything else, Micron Technology's substantial investment in semiconductors in Syracuse has a ripple effect in Rochester, and it has a lot more effect than we think it does. The company intends to invest over $100 billion in Clay, which is a part of Syracuse, for its semiconductor fabrication facility, commonly referred to as MegaFab. I know, that's strange, but yeah, that's happening. And we think about it, with this bringing just around over 9,000 jobs and 40,000 indirect jobs to the city and to the state, it just makes sense that Rochester has that ripple effect. A lot of these homes, a lot of these people living in these homes, well, it's going to be a supply chain issue. It's going to be people having to drive from Buffalo and Rochester to bring these parts over. It's going to be people having to live somewhere in, well, close enough proximity. Home prices are going to go up. So what does that mean? It means people are going to drive and they're going to live in the Finger Lakes or the Canandaigua area and Rochester as well. But we might also see the project being developed in Rochester as well. Rochester, alongside Buffalo and Syracuse, have applied for federal grants to further develop the semiconductor industry in the region. Hallelujah. It means that more and more growth is happening here. It means more and more opportunities of collaboration and contributions are happening. And if you're thinking about making a move to Rochester, after seeing this, you're working with the Micron project as a whole, give us a call, shoot us a text. This is what our team does for a living. But moving besides that, did I tell you that we're building more Wegmans? Sure seems that way, doesn't it? Every single corner that I see has Wegmans. And in fact, Wegmans is growing into other states now as well. Moving down southwest to places like Maryland. Don't quote me on that. Don't shoot me. I think they're in Maryland, I'm pretty sure. Moving down southwest to places also like Philadelphia as well. I'm like 95% sure. I know for a fact they're in Harrisburg though. So with that being said, there's more and more growth opportunities happening. There's a new one literally 4 minutes away. If you take a right and then go left on Calkins, there's a Wegmans right next to a Walgreens. Funny enough, I used to work at that Walgreens when I was 16. I sold the most amount of Red Noses in the entire district, so I want to make sure that's well known. Besides the point, I don't even know why I told you that. Besides the point, the story being is this. Wegmans is developing, and so is Micron, and so are many other projects. When you think about upstate New York, you're probably thinking about this ghetto wasteland with just a ton of space and not a lot of people. People cannot afford to live in these big cities. In fact, we had a client of ours actually reach out to us from Orange County. She said, hey, listen, Gagan, I want to make that move. I just can't deal with California. It's too expensive. She called us last week, and we've got multiple homes that we're showing her this week. So if you're thinking about making a move, give us a call and shoot us a text. We have clients call us from everywhere. We've had one of you guys, awesomely, call us from Miami, Texas, Austin, California, and even Seattle, Washington, and so many more other places. We'd love the opportunity to help. But besides that, I want to move on to why I think Rochester is still fantastic, because I don't want to pitch you too much. More than anything else, I think we still have a few other massive factors. Number one is, well, opportunities of enjoyment. When we talk about what specifically exists and what are fun things to do, well, think about it. I mean, we've got first and foremost Seneca Park Zoo. We've got Turning Point Park. We've got Seabreeze. We've also got jazz festivals. We've got lilac festivals and everything else in between. All of these contribute to the number one economic state of the area. And number two, it shows that we are growing and we are a community. If you can see, I'm chewing gum. I'm chewing the Neuro gum. I don't know if it's working. Do you guys think these videos are better compared to the past ones? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. But yeah, more than anything else, I still think there's a lot of opportunities, especially when it comes to the churn that exists with every city. So what are my projections for, well, 2025? First and foremost, with the home prices. I believe that home prices are still going to rise. We have not yet beat inflation. And as many people predict or think about, there's also a period of stagflation that goes with it. Stagflation is the combination or juxtaposition of low active job markets or high unemployment and very high inflation. So that's what stagflation is. And that's kind of what we're at right now. Tech jobs suck, but still we have super duper high inflation to combat how Biden kept on printing money during COVID times. So more than anything else, we need to figure this out. And I think with Donald Trump's tariff plans that might prevail, we'll see. For the short term, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but for the short term, high tariffs on other countries will keep raising inflation as well. Maybe for the future, that's going to be really good for the economy because more things are going to be circulated in our GDP in our specific country, but I don't know. I do know from a basic economic standpoint, short-term tariffs will raise inflation if inflation is already high. Just how it works. So what does that mean for you? It means the home prices are going to keep rising. Unfortunately, that's the truth. But I don't think it's going to be as high as people think it is. I think we peaked. According to Keeping Current Matters, our home prices on average across the country went up by 56% in the last 4 years. I think if we're going to see inflation, it's not going to be these crazy astronomically high numbers that we saw in the past. I think we're going to see low enough inflation as it is. And I've said the word inflation like 30 times. That's my prediction for number one. Number two, I'm excited for when Micron starts building. I'm excited for all the projects that are happening as a whole. More than anything else, I'm excited for the rejuvenization of the city. I think Rochester as a city is very attractive. It's beautiful. We're close to the Finger Lakes. We're also close to all the parks, Lake Ontario as a whole, Genesee Valley, Erie Canal. But I think cleaning the streets will do us a lot of good, and I'm excited to see the projects that are unveiling. I got a buddy of mine that works directly with the mayor and works in the city department, and he said, Gagan, you're gonna love what we got coming in store. So I'm excited for that. For you, if you're thinking about making a move, do I think now is the right time or do I think you should wait? Let me put it like this. What's holding you back? Is it the price point? Do you think that homes are gonna come down in price? Is it the job opportunity? Is it the market? Figure out what that looks like and then see what you need. If you need more money to have as down payment, obviously take care of that as well. Make sure you have all the numbers and all the factors taken care of even before you make that move. And if you're curious, we'd love the opportunity. We'll just talk you through it. We don't want to force anyone to come. Obviously, make sure that you have all the information that you need. Hey, watch this video over here to see what all the locals say about Rochester.